Hey there and welcome to Let's Create a Game. In this episode we are going to implement our player staff, then we'll create some nice looking UI elements and we'll add some more enemies. So let's continue creating a game. So last time we've implemented the destruction of our enemies, so basically if we shoot them they'll explode and disappear. And now we want to do the same thing with our players chat. So if an enemy or an enemy's bullet later on hits the player, it will also blow up, maybe a little bit bigger than the enemies. And for now we'll just make the level restart. Later on we'll do some more logic. Alright, now we've basically added a little collision detection. When the sprite collides with the player, then the player will get destroyed and a little resetting timer is initialized, and when this timer is done the level resets, which basically means the player is set to their original position and the sprites are reset for now. Later we'll change that. So let's try. So we hit an enemy and we die. Oh, the fire trail still stays. Okay, but otherwise it actually works. So let's remove the fire trail when we die. And maybe let's add some more explosion, because there should be some kind of difference between the player's death and the enemy's death. Let's try again. Okay, I mean it doesn't look great, but for now I think we'll leave it with that. Cool. Now back to our sketch. We have achieved so far our player, we have a background, and we have the first type of enemy, the straight moving enemy. Now let's head over to some UI elements, particularly the health bar of our player's character. For that I headed over to Inkscape, to our main graphics project, and I will just draw some basic graphics for the health bar and the UI at the corner. Okay, now some rather basic health bar here at the top corner. Now we won't need this one because we draw this of course with text later on. We'll export this health bar and the indicator. It only has to be a very small texture because we can stretch that. And this one. Now let's export these 3 items. Okay, now I've added the few graphic files to our content project, and I've also created a new sprite font with the Windows default font Impact, which we'll then use to draw the text. Now let's just implement that little UI health bar, which shouldn't be much of a problem. Now before we draw our hot textures, we want to create a separate method for those UI things because these shouldn't be affected by our camera. So we have to separate the sprite patch. It's very important. So we want to display the health bar according to the player's lives, of course. We haven't implemented that feature yet. We have the variable lives set to 5 by default. Now we actually need a method hurt because we don't want to destroy the player anytime. And this reduces the lives. And if the lives are 0, then we'll destroy the player. Now we change the code we previously wrote so that if an enemy hits the player, then the enemy should be destroyed as well, and the player should be hurt, not instantly destroyed. Maybe we'll change those things later on, but for now, let's just make it this way. And we don't want to reset the thing here, of course. We wanna, let's just do this in a separate method. Let's call this one init. And then make another method reset. And this is where we put in this code. Yeah, and we call this in the destroy method here. Okay. Level.reset, of course. Perfect. Now we can move on with the drawing of our health bar. So we've basically just calculated the width of the health bar based on the relation of the player's lives to the actual maximum lives. And we have drawn our bunch of textures from the health bar. Okay, now let's try it out. Okay, it draws. Okay, of course, it's a bit bad that the player is drawn first, and then the HUD is drawn on top of those things. I don't know. Maybe we should remove this frame, the silver frame, because it hides a lot of the screen. You know what? Let's try to leave this metal frame out and just draw the health bar. This one was a bit too large. Okay, let's give it another try. When you're dealing with those kind of UI elements, it's always a bit of trial and error until it looks right. Well, it's better, I think. It doesn't take up that much space. Of course, that is not very cool. Yeah, maybe let's draw the particles and then the HUD will look better. Okay. All lives got reduced at once, and of course that's because, why is that? Because, oh, of course. Not too sure. Player hurt, and we remove the sprite, so actually there cannot be any more intersection with this sprite. So how does that work? Or maybe maybe the calculation here is wrong. Yeah, of course there we have to do a cast, otherwise it would be integer value, the decision. Otherwise the division would be an integer value, which wouldn't calculate the correct relation. And of course we have to reduce this value. Let's try again. Nope. Well, I'll have to see if the calculation is wrong, or, well, obviously the thing with the lives works, because now we've got destroyed after hitting all the enemies, so there has to be something wrong with this one here. Maybe we need to put this one inside. And now it works. Cool. So that's our basic health bar for now. Alright, now headed back to Inkscape. Now we will create a new set of graphics for our new shooting enemy. Well, I guess I'm satisfied with that for now. Now let's create some simple bullets for this enemy type. Just a simple rectangle with a little glow effect. I don't know. Yeah, why not? Let's try this out and see in game if it looks okay. Now that I've exported and included our graphics files, let's implement the shooting enemy in our code. This shouldn't be too much of a problem because we already have this list of enemy bullets in our level class, so we will just utilize this one. It's pretty much the same as with the player bullets, so let's just copy the code for the update method. Then the only thing that's left is we have to check whether one of the enemy bullets is intersecting with the player, and for that actually we can do this in this loop here after the update method of the bullet. Actually, I think this is the most logical position for that. Now let's create a new class for our new enemy type, which will be the shooting enemy. And basically we can take all of the code from our straight enemy because some parts will be the same. Of course, rename this one. This is also deriving from enemy, shooting enemy. And of course here, now let's import these. And this, let's change the graphics file. Yeah, let's maybe change our hit points a little bit higher. Maybe this one has some armor, and speed wise, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit slower than the straight enemy. We'll have to try out if these values fit. Then in the update method we'll implement the shooting. Let's just say we'll give this some interval. In this specific interval we'll use some kind of random value to determine when the enemy has to shoot. Now what I've basically done here is just I've created two variables, a shooting timer and a shooting cooldown. The shooting cooldown holds the value for the current cooldown, so the time until the next bullet should be shot. And this shooting cooldown is randomly generated. Each time a bullet is shot, it generates a new cooldown value to get some kind of randomness into the enemy's behavior. If the shooting timer is greater than the cooldown, a bullet is shot. So this is basically the same as with the player, just that I've inserted most of the values here. I guess we'll just try it out. One thing that's left, of course, is we have to add some of those new enemies to our level. Hopefully we'll change this in the next episode, that we'll get some kind of random enemy spawning, but for now we'll have to do this on our own. Oh, okay. A little bit too fast, but it didn't look that bad. Let's move those a bit further behind that we can see something. Maybe a little bit more offset here. So here's one shooting enemy. Whoa, the bullets are pretty fast, but it looked like it works. Yeah. Maybe one thing, the bullets should first be a little bit bigger and second a little bit smaller in order to be able to dodge them. And let's add some more of those new kind. Well, looks better. Oh, the bullet impact does not hit the enemy, the player yet. Let's take a look what's up with that. Oh yeah, pretty bad mistake. Of course, this should be enemy bullets. Now I think the position could be a little bit more this direction. Oh, of course, we also have to draw our enemy bullets. Okay, now let's give it another shot. Let's hit one of those. Oh, this hurt a little bit too much. Because of course I have not removed it when it hurts the player. Okay, another try. I think it should work now. Let's, yep. I mean, of course oh, this was too much again, but it did work. Of course, we need some kind of explosion now as well when a bullet hits the enemy, or rather the player. Maybe a little bit smaller kind of explosion. Okay, for that, let's just reuse our explosion particle engine, of course, but let's introduce a new parameter size, maybe. Okay, and now we'll pass 0.5 for this one, and we'll create another particle engine here. Let's call it small explosion, and let's give it maybe 0.2, I don't know. Let's copy the code, this one, and we'll create a small explosion when a bullet hits the player. So here, small explosion, and position would be the player's position. So player, oh, let's use player rect center. Okay. Yep, it works, and it looks not so bad. Why does the level not reset now? So level reset calls reset, which is initiating the reset actually. Okay, I think we should rather call init here, would make far more sense. Let's take a look at that. Let's hit some bullets and some enemies. Okay, yeah, looks better. Okay, of course we also have to reset our health, but basically it works now. Cool. Okay, now last thing, let's tweak those values a little bit in order to look better. First, the position of the bullets from the shooting enemy, and let's kind of decrease the, so increase the interval, the shooting interval. The position does not fit quite well. Let's move it a little bit up and to the right. Okay, let's leave it for now. Okay, perfect. see if we can kill some of those. No, we can't, so maybe the armor is higher than our bullet damage, but let's finish this for now. Okay, so let's review today's progress. First, we've implemented the player staff, so when the player gets destroyed, he blows up. After that, we've drawn and then implemented a basic health bar, which indicates the current lives of the player. Then we have created a new enemy type, the shooting enemy. We've drawn some new chat graphics and then implemented a basic shooting functionality. I hope you join me next time when we'll create even more new enemy types and some power-ups. If you like my videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and as always, have a nice day. Bye.